Welcome back to Beat of the Month. We are going to talk about our top 3 scary games of all time. Bash, will you lead us off with your top 3 scary games of all time?
No particular order, I don't think. First off, I probably don't want to waste 2 spots on this. Probably either Dead Space 1 or Dead Space 2. Yeah, we discussed that.
Two amazing
second one's
games.
a little more action-packed. The first one's a little more atmospheric. They're both good. 2's probably, or this next one, probably Resident Evil 4, I guess. We've talked about that a ton during the series. I don't think I got to get back into that one again. And the third one, off the top of my head, probably Bloodstained again, a game we kept talking about all the time. So
Bloodstained was good.
Might be a better one, but
really like that.
What was it?
Bloodstained is good, but damn, you really like that.
That's probably another situation. Is one of the games in that series of games. They kind of blend together. I just throw that one on top because it's the one I remember the best right now.
So when you're talking about Bloodstained, I mean, you got to be talking about the main one, right?
Yeah.
The 3D, or not the 3D one, the Symphony of the Night one, not the old school retro ones, right?
Well, I'm kind of blending it in with like the Castlevania, Metroidvania, Castlevanias.
Oh, I see. All right, gotcha.
It's like I don't know which one I can pick, but it'd be one of those, you know.
Gotcha.
Right, that one, Area of Sorrow or Symphony of the Night. One of those 3. I'll lump those together.
Got it. All right, cool. Emil, you want to give us your top 3 scary games of all time?
Top 3 scary games of all time. For me, which Doom, the one that came out on the Xbox. I played with Holy Assassin back in the day, and I remember that freaking me out because that was like the first time I played first-person shooter with decent graphics as far as the horror theme kind of goes for Doom. So that was pretty scary for me.
That'd have been Doom 3, right? Yeah.
It had to be, yeah. I think it was Doom 3, yeah. I remember specifically one scene where, like, we're playing co-op together, and we're supposed to run in through this, like, portal, and he's like, on 3, we're going to go. He goes, 1, 2, 3, so I run in, and he just stays back. And, like, there's, like, this huge, like beast that I'm fighting, and I'm, like, screaming in my headset the whole time. And he was, like, just laughing hysterically. But, so that's one game. Another game, it was also on the Xbox. The original was BioShock. It wasn't so much more that it was like, oh my gosh, I'm freaked out. It was more like a creepy vibe with like that whole like 40s, 50s kind of theme, and you hear like little like music in the background and certain things like that, which kind of made it a little eerie. So, but I don't really know what my third scary game would be. I'd have to think about that one.
Little Nightmares, baby.
I would have liked to play like Limbo or Inside because those seem pretty good.
Made you feel empty inside, man. It's your top 3.
Yeah, it just made me feel empty. So maybe that's kind of scary too, I guess, huh?
You should give Limbo a shot. You'd like it. It's good.
Yeah, I think I would like that. I want to do that.
Muff, you want to give us your top 3 scary games of all time?
They might be top 3. They might not be top 3. Just when you try to think back of how long you've been playing games throughout, I mean, our generation, anyways, has been playing probably most of our lives. I try to think about something that stood out to me. Maybe not a favorite, but it was still really good. But as much as I like sport games and I like Halloween and everything put into it, back in 1993, the Sega Genesis brought out Mutant League Football. And it was cool because it used the Madden engine. So it's just like playing Madden, but you had all these different characters that were typical Halloween-type characters. And it wasn't just football. They had like different types of hazards on the field, landmines, fire pits, balls would explode. You could attack the ref. And one of the funniest things was I was playing and I got penalized, and the penalty was excessive gas. And so
Very fitting.
Just being able to tie that in was very fun and memorable for me. because of how much I played the sport video games, and to tie that scary genre, it's not really scary, more comical, but still to take those type of characters and blend them in, it was really good.
Just Bones Jackson in that.
Bones Jackson, who would be Bo. Joe Magician would be Montana. Scary Ice would be Jerry Rice. Grim McSlam was the punky QB known as McMahon. So yeah, they played off of that, and it was a lot of fun. Then I started to think about like what game was hyped up the most as far as like scary games, and you start thinking about like the Mortal Kombats when they had the fatalities and how cool they were. But really, what was hyped up that I remember was Splatterhouse on the TurboGrafx. And when that came out, it just because it was available to play at home and just the gore and everything behind it, everybody like wanted to play it, and not many people had TurboGrafx back in the day. I did, and they wanted to
Me
come
too.
over. I was like, "Fuck you, you ain't coming over." And then
Muff
number
was one
one,
of those good friends.
I was a good friend, still am, sluts. Then number one, hands down of all time, legit, would be Tecmo Super Bowl. You had the Monsters of the Midway, the Nigerian Nightmare, and then when QB Eagles up there on that sweep, forget about it. Scary shit.
All right. Muff, did you ever play Mutant League Hockey that came out after Mutant League Football?
Probably.
All right.
All right.
Spiral, you want to give us your top 3 scary games of all time?
Yeah, these aren't gonna be very scary, but have the Halloween theme. The third one's gonna be scary. It's the original Resident Evil. That's really the only popular scary game I've ever played. But I think it's very I mean, it's the original, right? In the whole survival horror genre. On the PlayStation, I feel like the scene where in the beginning of the game you're walking in and a zombie turns his head at you is like one of the most iconic video game scenes of all time. Like I'd never experienced a game like that before. So that's what number 3, the original Resident Evil. The number 2 and number one are gonna be franchises, and they're not scary games, but they fit the theme of Halloween. Number 2 is gonna be a game I played way back in the day, Ghosts and Goblins, and its
Yes.
sequel, Super Ghouls and Ghosts, on NES and Super Nintendo. Ghosts and Goblins, man, for a side scroller, that game was so fucking hard. And you get to the end of the game finally, like you play this game for fucking days and weeks. You get a certain number of continues. It's so fucking hard. You get to the end of the game, you think you're done, you finish the game, finally you're so happy, and it turns out you got to play it again, and even in a harder mode to actually finish the game. That was so hardcore. I'd never finished the game. I got through it once, and it was fun, but also very frustrating that you think you're done with the game and you got to play through it again. And then Super Ghouls and Ghosts for Super Nintendo was really cool too. I remember the graphics being great back in the day. I'm definitely dating myself, but I remember playing that game and thinking the graphics could never get better than Super Ghouls and Ghosts. But yeah, that's my number 2. And my number 1 would be the Castlevania series. That's a series I grew up with. Specifically, the 3 games I would say were the original Castlevania, the sequel Castlevania 2, Simon's Quest, and then on the PlayStation, Castlevania Symphony of the Night. Original Castlevania is probably one of my top moments in gaming for finishing that game. It took me a really long time.
On the
But-
NES.
On the NES,
Ooh,
yes.
damn, that's rough, man.
Yeah, it was so hard. It took me, I think I played it, and then maybe a year later I played it again, just trying to finish it, and I finished it, and I was so happy with myself. Just getting the Dracula was tough enough, but then beating Dracula was so hard because you have to jump his fireballs or attack him and kill those fireballs and then attack him. That with like Mike Tyson's Punch Out on original NES were my top like memories of finishing a really difficult game with just like 3 continues. Castlevania 2, Simon's Quest. That was a really cool game too. It was far, far easier. I think I finished it the first day it came out. I think me and my friends played it when it came out to the early morning. Just played it right through. The thing I remember about that game is that day turned to night and night turned to day, which was, I think, back then like pretty unique. But that was a super cool game. And then Symphony of the Night, I just played recently this year for the PlayStation through Xbox One via Xbox 360. That game was really cool too. Just the Metroidvania and just figuring out the world and going through that game. That was fun as well. That's my top three.
I'm surprised you beat Castlevania 2 because it's not like the combat's that difficult, but I just remember it being so confusing about what you're supposed to be doing, and like some of the things that you have to do are just like, how would you ever figure that shit out? Like,
yeah, a lot of the game doesn't make any sense.
I don't even remember how we did it, but we just played it the one night and just ran through it. Me and 3 friends, we just took turns and just beat it.
Maybe had a Nintendo Power or something that told you some of the solutions.
Game Genie?
No, never had a Game Genie.
Super Ghouls and Ghosts, yeah, I just want to follow up on that. That's a great game, one of my favorite games of all time. And yeah, I've played through until you get to the last level on the second playthrough, and you have to beat the boss with a specific weapon that has short range, and it's just fucking brutal. Like, I just could not do it. But yeah, that game's amazing. The NES one I do not like that much. It's buggy as hell, and yeah, it's not that much fun to play. But Super Nintendo one's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Darkside, you want to give us your top 3 scary games of all time?
My top 3 in no particular order. Obviously, Dead Space. Obviously, Brilliant. Platinum. Obvious.
Obvious.
Everybody should play it. It's terrifying and awesome, and it's great. Way better than Mario. Next, OG original Resident Evil. I loved it. I played it a ton back in the day. I think I played it at least 6 to 10 times because I think there was like 6 different endings, and I got them all. And I remember playing it again. But I mean, even to this day, it's a lot of nostalgia because it looks like shit now, but it was at the time terrifying. Lastly, original Silent Hill. I played that a ton also. Also terrifying, but completely different than Resident Evil. Similar, but still different. Loved it. Those are my top 3.
I might swap in Silent Hill somewhere in my list, but I don't feel like doing the math right now.
All right, Mel, bro, you want to give us your top 3 scary games of all time?
Yeah, before I do that, one honorable mention because we didn't mention it, but House of the Dead 2, best light gun scary game of all time, man.
Yeah, amazing game.
I prefer typing of the Dead 2.
My number 3 is another game that probably wouldn't get mentioned, but Zombies Ate My Neighbors. That game was so fun, man. I never beat it so hard, but I had so much fun with that game as a kid, dude. I played it hours and hours, man. Now I never could get past that worm boss. I don't think
the
it was
worm
even
boss
possible.
is insane. Yeah, like the Tremors looking boss. Yeah, because the thing about that game is if you die, like they give you a password, but you're screwed. You don't have enough weapons. Like you're shooting that big worm guy with a squirt gun. Like there's no way.
Has anybody ever beat that worm boss? Anybody?
I did.
You did?
Yeah.
Man, dude.
Oh, yeah, there's weird spacing. You got to hit it right when it's coming out of the ground. I can't remember like the weakness of it, but
did you actually beat the game too?
No, I didn't beat the game.
Oh, okay.
Kevin Van Bacon beat them tremor worms, right, Brian?
That's right. Great movie.
That's a game I would love if they re-released it somehow, but I would enjoy that. But who knows?
Yeah, I mean co-op. If they added that to Nintendo Switch Online, I mean that would
be a hit. Number 2 for me, I guess Last of Us 2. I kind of grouped them together, if you guys even consider those scary games. But amazing games, zombie themes. So I guess I'll throw them in those categories. But yeah, amazing games. If you haven't played them, playing probably some of the best storytelling ever in video games. And then number
Completely
1.
Agreed with you there.
Number one, Resident Evil 4. Probably my favorite scary game of all time. Has some good memories with that game. Talked about it on the Resident Evil episode, but if you do play it, make sure you play it on Wii. It's the only way to play it.
You heard it here. Nintendo Wii, the only way to play.
The one game you should play on the Wii.
All right, I'm going to go ahead and round things out. My top 3 scary games of all time. Number 3, Eternal Darkness, Sanity's Requiem. So this was a game that came out on the GameCube. It's kind of like Resident Evil in a way, but what's cool about it is you go through all these different like periods of time and you control these different characters. So the main character is this girl that goes to this mansion, and then she uncovers this, I think, this ancient tome, and then she finds out she's got like ancestors that went and like had like interventions or whatever, like connections with this demon. And I don't want to spoil it, but it has these things called insanity effects that I don't know that I've seen any other game do, and they're just, it's like the highlight of the game. I'll spoil one where like you'll be playing the game and then all of a sudden they make your TV look like it changed the channel. Like it'll show like 03 in the corner, and then you're like, oh shit, because you think you're getting killed by enemies, and then it'll flash back to the actual game. Like there's all sorts of little things they do like that to kind of mess with you, and it's so cool. The downside is I don't know where you can play it other than GameCube. I don't think it ever got re-released or ported to anything. But yeah, it's a great game, really scary.
I'm trying to look it up now. You said it's called Eternal Darkness, Sanity's Rectum.
Requiem.
Oh,
Sanity's
okay.
Requiem.
I got a link for that one, Melvin. Don't worry.
Yeah, I think it's only on GameCube still.
Yeah, which is a shame because yeah, it's an awesome game.
I put a few hours in it and got sidetracked, but yeah, it's good.
Yeah, I think because to get the best ending, you had to play through the game like 3 or 4 times, and I played through it like 3 or 4 times to do it because I was a kid, so I didn't have any other games to play at the time. Where now, if I had the choice, I'd just watch a YouTube video of the ending. Number 2, Silent Hill. So I mean, I love the whole franchise, but really the one I remember the most is the first one, just because I played it so many times. It's just a different vibe from Resident Evil because it's more like psychological horror, and it's more like a, you know, you're walking around this big open town, you're not confined to a single mansion, and yeah, just really atmospheric, and you know, you get this radio that starts buzzing whenever there's enemies nearby, so you're like constantly on edge. Some of the cutscenes are like really scary. Yeah, great franchise. And then number 1, Resident Evil 4. I mean, really, Resident Evil 1 or 2, you know, would be looped in or grouped in there as well. But Resident Evil 4 is just one of the best games of all time. Even though it's more action based, you know, the game was still scary. Again, we talked about it more on the Resident Evil deep dive episode that we just put out, but yeah, it's a great game. And then a quick, what's up, Melvin?
Yeah, real quick, I want to get your thoughts on, so we haven't talked about it on the episode, but on PT. When you mentioned it, I looked up some YouTube videos, and people were saying that even though it's like an hour long, this is probably one of the top 10 games on PlayStation.
Yeah, so I was just going to mention, so honorable mention PT. It stands for Playable Teaser, and this was meant to hype the Silent Hills game that was supposed to come out that never did, because Hideo Kojima left Konami and he was going to work on it. But all it is essentially is you're in a hallway, and it just loops over and over and over. So the actual like environment you're in is really small, but I played it a couple days ago, and they just nailed the scary atmosphere. Like after playing like Resident Evil 7 in VR, I didn't know if like regular games would scare me that much anymore, but I mean, I was jumping at stuff, and just the way like when you're looping through over and over, like little things change. Like all of a sudden you'll hear like a woman laughing or like like moaning in the background, and then there'll be like different like things written on the wall, and then like all of a sudden like this Latin text will appear on the screen. And yeah, it's really cool. But it's a shame though, because after that game Silent Hills, that project was canceled, they removed PT from the PlayStation store. So
I want to play it so bad, man. I don't know where to find it though.
Yeah, I think I made it.
Yeah,
so
I think you could play it in Dreams.
Oh, is that
really?
right?
Okay.
Yeah, I think it was remade in Dreams on the PlayStation 4.
Okay.
Yeah, they've remade it, I think, for PC as well. I mean, if there's a way you can check it out, I would recommend it. It's really cool. But I didn't like. I looked up online on how to actually like beat it, And I mean, it's kind of convoluted. You have to do stuff like in very specific. It's like, okay, take 10 steps and then you'll hear a woman crying, and then take 5 steps back and look at the phone. And like, so I didn't really get into all that because that would kind of ruin the scary mood if I was just staring at a guide for how to do it. But just walking around for, half an hour or so was really cool and spooky. All right, so I'm going to get into then listener mail. So as we mentioned earlier in the episode, we had that giveaway for Carrion for the Nintendo Switch. So we asked for people to write in with their favorite scary games of all time. So Daniel wrote in, said Resident Evil, that we've mentioned, a lot of us here, was also our scary games. Steven wrote in, said Fatal Frame 2, that I just played was his favorite scary game of all time. Alan wrote in, he said, my favorite scary game is Dead Space. The necromorphs are some of the most scary enemies in a video game, and they gave me nightmares.
He's a smart man. I would agree wholeheartedly.
How do we know Darkseid didn't write that in?
That might have, yeah.
Because my name's Darkseid.
Nerleptic Trainer wrote in, said, in this month I've been playing some horror scary games. My favorite is Outlast 2 so far. Experiencing that creepy rush every time I play is something really immersive, definitely one of a kind game. Anybody else play any of the Outlast games?
No, I thought that was a driving game.
No.
What is Outlast?
Outrun? Are you thinking of
Outrun? Yeah, man, I'm thinking about Outrun, yeah.
Outlast in concept is similar to like Fatal Frame where there's no combat, and but I think you're basically you have to hide basically from enemies and run away rather than fight them. They're both supposed to be very scary. I wanted to play them.
And then Rael Razor wrote in, said my favorite horror game is Goetia. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. A point-and-click experience, but man, really engaging if I say so. I think this might have been a mobile game that got ported to the Switch. I'm not entirely sure. I think I've seen it when I was flipping through the eShop. Anybody heard of this game, played this game? Goetia?
No, it's on the okay. No, I haven't heard of it.
Maybe
It's on the Wii or the Switch, did you say?
I believe it's on the Switch, but I think it might have been a mobile game first. I don't know much about it.
Point and click would be mouse, right? Computer, PC?
Yeah, I mean, people use point and click, like, kind of, if it's still that style of game, even if you're not literally pointing and clicking. So it might have been on PC as well. I'm not sure. And then Michael wrote in, said, my favorite scary game series is Konami's Silent Hill. I've played every Silent Hill game and have been waiting for a new game. So yeah, we talked about Silent Hill. We like it a lot. So Michael, you may have to wait a long time for a Silent Hill game, but you are the winner of the Carrion giveaway for Nintendo Switch. So we will send you that code. Thanks for writing
Nice.
Thank
Congrats,
you, Michael.
Congrats, buddy.
Actually, there have been rumors that Sony and Konami are working on Silent Hill for PlayStation 5.
There's been lots of Silent Hill rumors though, so I don't know, man. Like I'll have to wait until something's announced before I start to get
It'll come back.
For that one.
Melbro, when do you think that it'll get announced? What do your sources say?
I would guess we would get it in late 2022.
You heard it here.
2022, mark the calendars. New Silent
Same
Hill.
year we
game.
get a vaccine. All right.
Yeah.
All right, everyone. So that wraps up our scary games. When we come back, we will be just wrapping up the games that we played in October that maybe were not so scary, but please stay tuned. And we're back with the rest of the games we played for the month of October. Bash, you play anything else for the month of October?
It's a game I beat before, but they added a new difficulty to it. It's South Park: The Fractured Butthole.
Oh.
It's actually it's a continuation of The Stick of Truth. It's kind of like a strategy RPG, kind of like Final Fantasy Tactics or kind of like Shining Force. The first one played a lot like Paper Mario.
Love Shining Force.
Yeah, this one, it isn't quite like that. The battlefields are usually only like 4 high by like 8 wide. And you get like, instead of like just having a little helper partner, in this one you actually get a full party of like 4 characters. and they're the superhero characters from the South Park episodes where they had the Coon,
Yeah.
just Cartman, and like
Coon and Friends.
Mysterion, who you don't actually know who that is.
It's Kenny.
Yeah. They're superheroes, and like the weird thing about it is they're just pretending to be superheroes, but they actually have superpowers, but they're just pretending. It doesn't make any sense at all. But you just roll with it. If you think about it too much, you'll probably ruin the game for yourself. Just play it. And yeah, it's probably the raunchiest thing the South Park guys have ever made, because there's no like TV standards. Like, I'll just warn you now. This was made before 2020. There's a lot of police brutality stuff in it. It plays for laughs. I don't know how it'll play now, but it's South Park. You know what to expect. There's a couple DLCs. There's one that's actually like Friday the 13th, where they go to like the summer camp from that one episode. And there's another one where they go to Casa Bonita. And, well, it's pretty good. Kind of short RPG, but that's pretty good.
And I think you mentioned before I have not kept up with South Park, the TV show, for a long time. Would I still enjoy the game?
Depends what episodes you've seen. I don't know.
I bet I've seen through season 12 or 13 or something. They're on season 22 or something now, right? I'm like 10 seasons behind.
I think if
you could jump into it, yeah.
If you played the game, you'd want to go watch the rest of the episodes.
Yeah. I got it for the Switch. I should give it a shot.
Just remember to play the first game first, but it comes with it anyway, so yeah.
I did already play the first game.
Oh yeah, then you're good to go probably, yeah.
All right, cool.
Do I have to play the first game before playing the second one? I have the second one, but not the first one.
I would recommend it. It's cheap. Okay. It's probably $10 at most. So.
All
right.
You have to, no, but you should.
Yeah.
I have just the games I mentioned earlier. I guess just Hades, basically. Nothing else.
What else are you planning on playing coming up? You're gonna play Celeste?
Yeah, I'll probably get into Celeste, and then I still have Dragons of Dogma. I still have that sealed. I feel like Darkseid. I don't even have it open. So that's gonna be a long game, though. I know that one, so that'll take me a bit. But yeah, probably Hades. And if I get frustrated with Hades, I'll probably go to Celeste and kind of bounce back between the two.
Are you a Mario guy? You're not gonna play the Mario game?
I was a Mario guy when I was like 10. You know what I mean?
It's more of a kid's thing. You know?
No.
You outgrow Mario. Most people do.
The last one I played was Odyssey, which was pretty good, but yeah.
All right, Muff, you play anything else in October?
Play Fall Guys with Darkseid, Season 2. And it's still just Fall Guys. It's a little different, more costumes. Probably would be playing that a little bit more if Among Us didn't get his big push. And so I probably play that every night before bed, probably for an hour or so. Even that's starting to get pretty stale because you get a group of 10, and if they're all strangers, like 2-3 people quit as soon as they find out that the game starts and they're not imposters. So that's pretty dumbass shit there. So that's getting old. So who knows? Yeah. That'll probably fade away. But like when we have our big groups, I mean that's far more fun because you don't have to worry about that bullshit.
And then we're gonna have our deep dive on Among Us for our next episode. So stay tuned for that. We'll all hop on, give our thoughts on that game in a bit more detail. You play anything else in October, Muff?
Clash Royale. Still some bullshit, but whatever. 3 towers, bitches. Take all 3 towers. Don't
That's the sequel to Lord of the Rings, the 2 towers?
No.
All right, you got anything else, Muff?
All right.
I started playing.
Oh my god!
All right, go ahead, Spiral.
No, go, Muff. Muff, what you got?
Fuck you, Spiral. You can.
All right, Spiral. You got any other games you played in October?
Yes, I have begun playing the game. So next month, in November 2020, there's going to be a big release, Cyberpunk 2077. I'm thinking about purchasing that game based on the quality of it, the reviews it gets, and possibly also get an Xbox Series X when that game comes out to play it in the best possible format. But before I get into that game, I kind of want to play some other RPGs released by CD Projekt. I've never played any RPG by them. So I started playing this month The Witcher 2 Assassins of Kings on the Xbox 360. The plan is, after I finish that, to play Cyberpunk and then The Witcher 3 at some point, which I know Emil played and enjoyed. So I've started Witcher 2, and it's actually thrown me for a little bit of a loop because it's really difficult. The battles in the very beginning of the game are freaking tough. Like, this attacking like three monsters, like it takes me 3 or 4 times to beat them. It's difficult. I'm not sure if I was doing something wrong. I looked it up online, and nope, they really hike up the difficulty in the early part of the game. So I'm just getting into it. I'm only in chapter 1. I finished the prologue, and I'm a little bit into chapter 1. I played about 10 or 15 hours. It's really difficult, but for the most part, I really enjoy it. It's a little bit dated, Xbox 360. Some of the controls are a little bit clunky. The graphics are pretty good, though. Overall, I think I'll really enjoy this game. I'm looking forward to playing it. You'll hear more about it next month, and then hopefully getting into some of the other games made by the developer.
Why did you decide to skip Witcher 1?
Because it's not available on Xbox.
Oh, was it PC only?
It was PC only, so I was looking into it. I wanted to play the Witcher original, but it's never been released outside of PC, as far as I know. I did some pretty deep research. Even The Witcher 2, I was looking to buy a physical copy of it because I do like physical copies of games. Man, that game is hard to find. It's not on Amazon. It's on eBay. It's $40, $50 for a used copy. Wasn't really willing to do that. And I had it downloaded on my Xbox through Live Games with Gold, so I just ended up playing that version of it. But yeah, I don't think The Witcher 1 was ever released on any system outside of PC.
Witcher 1 needs a Switch port.
Is there any story? Like, are the stories connected between the 3 games?
I was about to say something. I don't know because I've only really recently got into The Witcher. I've watched a Netflix series, which I enjoyed a lot, and the characters are referenced in The Witcher 2. I'm not sure how the universes are connected, if they're very separate or if they do maintain that continuity. But the characters seem to align a bit. And the story so far in Witcher 2 is really good. Like, it's understandable. It's not too far out. Basically, the concept is a king was assassinated by an assassin, and you were kind of framed. Your character Geralt was framed for that assassination. So now you got to clear your name. The opening animation for the game is really, really good, and the storyline so far, even through all the side quests, is pretty memorable as far as I've gotten. So I'm looking forward to playing the rest of the game, getting into the series. Eventually, probably going to read the books. So I'm excited about getting started with The Witcher.
All right, cool. You play anything else in October?
That was it.
All right, Dark Side. What else you got for October?
For October, first a quick story. Amazon Prime Days was happening, and I saw that they had PlayStation Plus on sale. So I snagged up a couple of those because I wanted to extend my PlayStation Plus membership. And they sent me the codes, and I entered the codes, and I realized that's not PlayStation Plus. I bought 2 years of PlayStation Now, which is basically Games Pass, except for you can stream games also. So I was like, well, I got this now, so let's see what we got. So I tested out some games on PlayStation Now, streamed some games. One of the games I streamed was Star Wars Jedi Starfighter. I streamed the original God of War. They actually work really well. There was a tiny bit of lag every once in a while, but for the most part, I have a decent internet connection, nothing crazy, and they streamed really well. So I was pleasantly surprised.
So if you got broke-ass internets like Muff, you think he'd have a problem with PlayStation Now?
Probably.
I ain't got no broke-ass internet.
I think if you got Muff's broke-ass internets, you might have an issue, but I didn't have no issue. Also from PlayStation Now, I played Metro 2033. That is a little bit of a scary game, but I didn't finish it, so I didn't mention it. It's a first-person shooter. Takes place in 2033. Underground, you're fighting mutants. You're rushing. You're shooting shit up. It's fun. I plan on beating it before the end of the month. Lastly, I played Super Stardust Ultra, also PlayStation Now. Sequel to Super Stardust HD from the PlayStation 3 days. It's twin stick shooter. I've talked about it before because I played it a couple months ago, or I played the HD version a couple months ago. It's fun. You know what you're getting into.
Hey, Darkside.
Yeah.
Question on the streaming. So does that mean that you don't have to download the entire game?
Correct. You don't
Correct,
download
okay.
the game at all. You're streaming it. Like, it's basically Netflix, but video games.
And it works really well. You can play it on your PC. So if you're not where your PlayStation's at on your PC, you can play it there. It's very. I don't have any issues streaming any of the games.
Yeah, I've only had it not even a few weeks, just a couple weeks, and I'm happy with it so far.
Best mistake you ever made.
Yeah, it is probably.
All right.
That's not it.
Oh well, we played Fall
Spiral.
Guys, and we played. Oh, you're talking about something else.
Spiral, Darkside, and I, Dude Bro, Friday 13th.
Oh shit! Yeah, why didn't you
And
mention
that
that?
is a really fun game.
I've heard it is. I want to check that out.
That game is pretty cool, actually.
So one person's Jason and the other people are like the campers or whatever. Is that how that game will work?
Counselors.
There's like 8 camp counselors, and then one person plays Jason. And basically, Jason's job is just to kill everybody before the time runs out. And the counselor's job is to either escape or die. There's no way to kill Jason. You can only knock him out temporarily.
That's not true.
no,
That naked dancing motherfucker killed me.
No, the time ran out.
Oh, I thought I died.
No.
Fuck that dancing bitch.
The counselors basically have to go around to the different cabins and find different materials to protect themselves or to start a car. Like there's a couple cars there, and you have to find gas, you have to find the keys or the battery or whatever. And you can also find fuses to fix fuse boxes so that you can call the police and they'll show up and take you out of there. And
walkie-talkie, call your homie.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's glitchy as fuck, and it doesn't look that great, but you get some friends together, it's fun.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
It's pretty scary too, when you're being chased by Jason. Like there's musical cues and visual cues. Yeah, it's pretty neat, the concept.
Yeah. And there
And all
are
of a sudden he's just there. All of a sudden, and you're just like, fuck. There he is.
Yeah. There are some good death animations where Jason will take an axe to your dick, or like smash your head with his hands. It's pretty good.
Isn't that another game where if people like get into the game and they aren't Jason, they'll just quit out and now you're sure to play?
Haven't had that happen yet since we've played.
I heard that was a problem. Like
I could
maybe
completely
earlier on.
see them doing that for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
People are assholes, man.
Mm-hmm. True.
That's coming from you.
People are
Anyway.
assholes, but our audience, they're the best people.
That's true.
You know damn well anybody listen to us a little bit, asshole. Mike, carry on.
All right, Darkseid, you got anything else?
No, that's it.
All right, Melbro, you got any other games you played for October?
Yes, I played Wargroove, and I beat that in October as well. I talked about it on the previous episode, but it's strategy game similar to Advance Wars, which I think came out on one of those Game Boy systems. I don't know which one. But it's really similar to that, where it's kind of also like a Red Alert if you played that on some of the earlier PlayStation consoles. Pretty dope game though, man. Story is kind of shit, but just overall fun. Just strategizing in terms of moving your troops to advance and capture castles and stuff like that. So if you like those type of games, I think this is probably the best one on Switch that you'll find. And I'm playing a bunch of other games, kind of dabbling in it, but once I get a little further, I'll talk about those in future episodes.
All right, dabble with these nuts. Sounds good. Um, So I'm gonna round things out then. Last, certainly not least, Super Mario Galaxy is the game that I beat in October.
Oh man,
And
so boring.
it's the Super Mario 3D All Stars came out, so I played Mario 64 last month. I did the bare minimum to beat it. I may go back and clean things up, but a lot of the missions you have to do in that are just kind of not that much fun or tedious. Where Super Mario Galaxy is an incredible game. I mean, every mission you do is fun. I mean, I've gotten 90 out of the 120 stars. You only need 60 stars to beat it, so you only need to do like half the stuff to beat the game. But I've got 90 right now. I mean, there was one that stands out as not being fun. The rest of them were all a blast to play.
So
It's
after
really-
you beat it, you finish, but you just keep going?
Yeah, so once you beat Bowser, after you get like the 60 stars, then you just go back and there's still half the game really left to do. So you can kind of pick and choose whatever 60 stars that you want to beat throughout the game. So it's really open-ended in terms of like how you want to play through the game. I mean, it's just, to me, the perfect blend of like exploration. There's really not that much exploration. It's way more linear than Super Mario Sunshine or Super Mario 64. There is a little exploration sometimes, so it's definitely not as straightforward as like, the old school Mario games where you're just running left to right, or something like Super Mario 3D World that came out on the Wii U is going to come out on the Switch. So it just really hits that sweet spot that makes it a lot of fun. And then you may call it a gimmick of like running around on the planets, but that just never gets old. I mean, it's such a cool mechanic when you're running around and like you're upside down and stuff. And like in Mario Kart 8, when you're like you go upside down on the track, it really never feels like you're upside down. Like the camera moves and it just feels like you're driving forward, where this really gives you the effect that you are upside down, because the camera doesn't always flip when you flip. And you would think that would like make the controls kind of jacked up, but I mean, it really doesn't. I mean, it controls really well. Yeah, I think it's the greatest 3D Mario game, except for Super Mario Galaxy 2, which just barely gets the edge just because there's a bit more content there. I mean, Super Mario Odyssey is great, but there were so many moons to get that they kind of lost their kind of, they weren't that special when you got one, because you were like always getting them for doing like minimal stuff. Yeah, it's just a fantastic game. And Melvin, I know you're a big music guy. I mean, the soundtrack is just phenomenal. And Gusty Garden Galaxy is like one of the best video game tracks of all time. I mean, it's just a great song. Yeah, it's a great song. So if you have Super Mario 3D All Stars, I would really recommend just going to Galaxy. I mean, if you want to play them in order, so you're not kind of let down when you go back to play the other ones. But if you're starting to play Mario 64 and you're not finding it that fun, I would just skip and go to Galaxy, because I mean, Galaxy is an incredible game.
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering. Like, if I play Galaxy and then I try and go to Sunshine or 64, will it just kind of ruin it for me?
It might a little bit. I mean, Galaxy is really just everything refined. I mean, if you like the more open-ended exploration, where you're trying to, it's almost like a puzzle you're trying to figure out, like the objective's not super clear, then you may gravitate to those games a bit more. But I think Mario Galaxy is just kind of the like most polished like refinement of that formula. Like it just kind of is the best of both worlds, I'd say, with the Mario franchises.
All right.
So what's the gimmick with that game though? Like with the physical copy, it's only available for a limited time. Is that right?
Yeah, it's bizarre. So even the digital copy, they have
Always
said,
got to
wow.
be some big bizarre gimmick thing with Nintendo.
yeah, it's really bizarre. Like even the digital copy, they said, is only going to be available through, I think, the end of March. I have no idea why they are doing that. I don't know. Maybe if they'll go back on it. So I mean, it sold crazy well. I mean, I'm sure it would have sold really well despite their, kind of fake limited availability that they're putting on it. But yeah, if you're at all interested in those games, I mean, I would scoop it now, because I would almost guarantee it's not getting a price drop before it leaves stores, possibly forever. So I would definitely pick it up.
Interesting.
All right, so that's going to do it for the games we played for October. So we're going to round things off with some quick trivia. So I came up with some scary themed trivia. So we're going to go ahead and get right into it. First question. How many Resident Evil games were released in America for the PlayStation 2?
Oof.
2.
Let's see. For the PlayStation 2,
For the PlayStation
Ooh.
2. It is more than 2.
so there's Code Veronica X.
Jennifer said 2.
Oh, Veronica X. That was on PlayStation
Code
2.
Veronica X.
Yeah, I got ported.
Okay. That's the only one I can.
No,
Four
Resident Evil
was-
4
I
got
mean,
re-released.
Resident Evil 4.
Yeah, 4 got. Yeah.
The
I'm
Operation
sure.
Raccoon
I'm
City.
sure the originals got re-released on the system too, right?
Operation
I don't think
Raccoon
those-
City. File 1
I
and
don't think
File
those other
2.
movies. Oh yeah, File 1, File 2. Dead Aim.
Dead Aim. That's, yeah. Resident Evil Dead Aim. That's 5. Were any of those light gun games released on the PlayStation 2?
That's a light gun game.
No, I mean like the
Resident
Dark,
Evil light
the
gun.
Dark Side Chronicles or
Yeah, I think it's just Dead Aim.
okay. So that's 5. We're talking about just America, right?
That's it. Just
You're not
America.
gonna fuck our life up by saying
No.
Japanese also.
No,
Okay.
no
Talking about
Yakuza
America.
taking place.
Talking about America.
What do you guys say? 5?
Yeah, let's go with 5, buddy.
5.
That's it.
Sure.
You got them. You got them
Yeah.
all. Resident Evil
Wow.
4, Code Veronica X, Dead Aim, and then Outbreak, File 1, File 2. You got it.
We're the best.
All right, next question. Which of these systems did not get a version of Resident Evil 2? GameCube, Dreamcast, PlayStation 2, Game.com, Nintendo 64.
Game.com.
PlayStation 2.
Game.com.
Nintendo
No,
64.
Game.com had a Resident Evil 2.
I'll say
That's a
N64.
trick question then. They all
No.
got a version of Resident
No.
Evil.
Oh no, not
Wait, wait.
PlayStation 2 didn't have it.
Wait, a version of what?
Resident Evil 2.
Oh, just Resident Evil 2. I thought you said just a Resident Evil game.
PlayStation 2.
You're right,
2,
PlayStation
Brian.
2. Which I kind of gave that away in the previous question when you listed all the PS2 games, and Resident Evil 2 wasn't one of them. But you are correct. All right, next question. How many Silent Hill games are there that were released in North America?
4.
Silent Hill 1, Silent Hill 2, 3, 4, The Room. So that's
The
4.
Homecoming.
Homecoming's 5. Downpour is 6.
The Silent Hill remake on Wii.
That's 7.
Are we counting this playable teaser shit?
No, I did not
Okay.
count that.
What was the remake called for the Wii?
Shattered Memories. Did you already
Yeah.
say that? Okay, yeah, never mind. Sorry.
Are you counting both versions of Shattered Memory, Brian?
No, just the one. So
Okay.
yeah, you guys are at 7.
There was one on the PSP. I can't remember that one, but that was a PSP and also PlayStation 2. Are you
Counting the light gun game? The
No.
arcade game, I mean.
No,
Okay.
no, yeah, not that.
counting the graphic novel on the PSP?
Was that the Silent Hill experience or whatever?
Yes,
No,
yes.
no, I'm not counting that.
But you are counting the other Silent Hill game on the PSP that was like a dungeon crawler type game.
Yes.
Yes.
Wow.
Darkside's crazy.
I am not counting. How many is that?
It is 9.
9. What the fuck else was there?
Too many of them.
There was the
It's kind
Silent Hill HD collection on the PlayStation 3.
I did not count that.
Oh.
Oh, snap.
Incomplete request.
Is that it? Anybody
That's
else think
it.
of anything else?
You guys
9?
got it. No, that's
9?
it.
9?
9
All
games. Yeah.
Damn, Dark
Yeah.
Side.
Silent Hill Book of Memories. That was for the PlayStation Vita. But
We
yeah,
can't
that
miss,
was-
guys. We
Dungeon
can't
Crawl.
miss. Oh, shit.
Oh, it
All
was
right.
Vita, not the PSP.
Yeah, but you got it. There was a shitty dungeon crawler.
You tried to
right.
trick us, guys.
I'll
You
take
guys
this
are
next one, guys. I'll
so
take
far.
this next one.
All right, Melvin. This is just for you. Which of these is not a real horror game title? Ill Bleed, Bloodless: The Dying Light, Mansion of Hidden Souls, Ring: Terror's Realm.
He's screwed, man.
It's the second or third one.
It's either Ill Bleed. That doesn't sound like some real shit.
Oh, it's real. Ill Bleed is real.
Ill Bleed is
Oh,
real.
snap.
And what do you think this ring of the
Dreamcast game.
this ring of the hidden soul is real?
I think it was a Wii game.
Ring of the hidden soul, a Wii game.
Do you want me to repeat the titles?
Yeah, repeat them.
All right. Ill Bleed, Bloodless, The Dying Light, Mansion of Hidden Souls, Ring, Terror's Realm.
I could be wrong. Maybe the Ring. I know there was like a Grudge game on the Wii. Maybe I'm thinking of that.
Mansion of Hidden
Hillbleed's-
Souls sounds kind of generic. Mm.
Which one is? Mansion of the Hidden Souls?
Sounds almost too generic.
Yeah, I'm going with that one.
Mansion of Hidden Souls is a real game. That came out for, I believe it was computer. It was definitely on the Sega Saturn. The game that was not real was Bloodless, The Dying Light. That is not a real game. Illbleed was on Dreamcast. I think Ring, Terror's Realm was also on Dreamcast. I know what game you're talking about, the Grudge game on the Wii, but yeah, that's a different game.
Oh.
All right, and then one more. What children's book had a horror-themed game made after it?
Dark Side, you got this.
Dark Side.
Everybody think of an answer. I don't fucking know.
Alice.
Oh wait, Alice in
What'd you
Wonderland.
say, Bash?
Alice.
Yeah,
That's
or
it.
whatever.
Alice. in
Yeah,
Wonderland.
Alice.
Yep.
Madness
It was-
Returns.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. You got it. All right, 4 out of 5. That's pretty good. That's pretty
Melvin,
good.
you messed us up, man.
Yeah, man.
All right, guys. So that's going to do it for this episode of Beat of the Month. Muff, you want to tell people where they can find us at?
You can find us up on the Twitters at Beat of the Months, and the Facebook, Beat of the Month, on the Instagram, Beat of the Month, the Gmail, Beat of the Month, the Pornhub, Beat of the Month, the Grinder, Beat of the Month.
All right. Yeah.
You guys think that's a joke? It's not a joke.
So yeah, send us a note. We'd love to hear from you. beatofthemonth@gmail.com. But yeah, reach out any social media platform you'd like. We'd love to hear from you. Next episode, we're going to be doing a deep dive in Among Us. That seems to be the big craze with all the kids these days. So we're going to see what's up with that.
AOC.
Brian
So
Crazy's
please-
nuts.
So please stay tuned. Thanks, everyone. Have a good night.
Thanks everyone.
Adios,
Bye.
everybody. Bye-bye.
Beat of the month. Beat of the month. Gotta have me my beat
So,
of the
Muff, tell me more about this titty meat.
Melvin, come on, man. You ain't been on to see some titty meat. You got your phone on you?
I got my
Everybody
phone.
listening. We'll edit this in somehow. Pull out your phone.
Go, Mama Doo Doo.
Buff, I need you to sing a song like you did Beat of the Month, but incorporate titty meat in there. Titty meat month. Titty meat month. Gotta get my titty meat month.
beat of the month. Beat of the month. Gotta have me my beat of the month.
Cool.
Never
cool.
gonna give you up. Never gonna let you down.
Dark Side, you got to sing that, dude. During
Never
just
gonna
random-
turn around.
Down, down. Desert you.
And just hook
Never
it to
gonna
up.
make Muff cry. Never gonna make Muff
I
say
can't-
goodbye.
I can't hear it at all.
Muff,
Oh,
turn
good.
up your light.